My name is Dinesh Walsh, and it's a continuation of my two first videos. And I forget that I'm 64, not 54. 64, not 54, like I said before in the number one. And this picture is just to show how life can be beautiful on earth, can be the paradise or the heaven that we live here, not anywhere else. This is a photo. It's sawdust from timber. I think it's Portuguese or pine timber. And it's to show, this picture is to show that in an animal feed or in the tires, it's important how to break the things for animal thing to have a better way how to feed. And it was what I thought for tires 1 year ago with backlit, that we could sew the backlit that I showed before and mix with rubber to make the upper part, that it was the number one, more hard, and we could have a tire that could be from 1 to 5 times the normal from now. This is a job that I took in when COVID begins, to have a place without land that we could do with aquaponics and aquaponics with ducks. I say the ducks prepared the water that we could are going to use in the vegetables that we could produce in the farm or in the house. This is the food that I thought when I begin to do this YouTuber, that it could be the first part of food for cows, milk cows, to have protein, a full protein. I don't know if it's corn or another wheat or another vegetable, that in this way of producing gives the animals high protein. And it was what I was thinking to do at the beginning of the COVID in the house too, for the animal feed. This is a panda eating bamboo. It was very surprising because it was from that and duckweed. But in this one, that I didn't know anything about bamboo, and I found interesting 2 videos from YouTube, how bamboo is good for animals. And this one shows how panda that have a small intestines, like a carnivore, not for vegetarians, can live. And I crude protein from bamboo. And it shows that bamboo can be one more crop to be feed for animals. And in that case, in the South Hemisphere, and mainly in China and South America, Africa, we have a lot of bamboo that can be the main food for animal feeds for cows, goats, porks, chickens, hens, and there can be a challenging game not to use, I forget the name now, I'll remember later. And of course that must be tried, like I showed 2 or 3 pictures before, to feed chickens, and it can be green for cows if you are in the region. This is a pig, an it comes with the same thing, with COVID in duckweed. Duckweed have more varieties. We call duckweed, but in duckweed we have a few different names for it and different things, but with the same amount of protein. And in these things for pigs, like cows, chickens, you can give spirulina in water, because it's the easy way to give spirulina is in the water. And it's something that people who create these things, or who create animals for meat or milk, can use. That is a change for soya. Like bamboo, spirulina is the big change. Because with spirulina you can have bamboo, you can have corn, the corn body, not the shell, with anything that have protein. And with spirulina is the high protein that they can get. I think spirulina is about 70% of pure protein, or full of amino acids. And is one way how to show how to use spirulina in an easy way and made in the installations of the farm. This is a picture from pine, but is the way that we have at the same time the green part of bamboo, because all the body of bamboo must have the same protein than the leaves. And when you are preparing bamboo for making furniture, or making furniture decorations for things, we take the green part that can be used in the animal feed. And in the country, a lot of bamboo, and with tradition to produce furniture, this part can be high value for the bamboo, and to have high quantities of milk cows to produce milk. For example, in China can be the big change. This one, bamboo with spirulina, just have enough food to have cows and to produce milk for all the country. This is a way how we see rudiments with how they digestive, the diagram of digestive system of ruminant animals. That shows that they have a specific body to how to transform food in protein. That they are prepared to eat vegetables, not all grain. And other things with ducks. It's a Peter fun, because what we have here is duckweed. Let's say ducks like the carp, that it's duckweed, is a big food for animals that we don't need to mind if we have duckweed, because they are getting the protein. This is one picture. I live in one place where I passed through the road and I saw them, and this one shows the same. Because where I live, I passed through a place with chickens, and what we see, they stay outside to get sun. That is very important. It's something that the explorations of chickens for eggs would have is sun from the light from the sun going inside, because it's very important for their bones and is what makes them happy and healthy. And the green parts are very important. If you eat, one of the things of having eggs that now are very famous to be for the chickens outside, not chickens close, is to get sun and greens. Is what makes good eggs, good quality eggs. And it was this thing who gave the idea of duckweed, and to have chickens at home, because if we have duckweed, we don't need to spend much money. Another picture with some grass, but if they were open 1 week ago, we could not see grass here, because because they have eaten all the grass. It's the grass carp. The grass carp is, I choose this because for an American going to the big lakes, how dangerous is grass carp because they eat everything. And it's why I choose the grass carp, because it's a way of you can give food to them by the quid and not spending much money, and have a fish with a very low, expensive food. It's why chicken, it was from COVID too, I hope to have fish too, not all animals, but fish too, because we could give food in an easy way. Is a video from raising chickens outside. And his tilapia was in Mozambique. It shows that African countries have already some of these things, but all the structure is not developed or in a way that a country must have. Because food security for people and animals is very important now in any country, because climate is changing, and we don't know if you are 5% of the changing of the weather in the next 10 years, if you are only in 5% or you are in 10 or 15. But life are not going to be easy for anybody if you don't have food and we are independent and have happy people in our countries. Another one from tilapia is the Moss Farm and Agriculture. The other one was from my aquaponics. It's another camel system, microbial. It's funny because camels have a very different digestive system from the cows. And they eat everything. Is why I'm doing this and show this, but you can get every information in YouTube when we go to look for this, or in internet you have everything. It's just I took these pictures, but this one is from this biology site steamer that you can look in internet and look for all the information. But camels and buffaloes is something that we don't have so much attention in the world. We think for cows for milk, but we can have milk from camel and can have milk from buffaloes, from making different cheese and different kinds of protein. And for example, in Africa, camels is the best animal in the north, in the Sahara or the North Hemisphere. Camels will be the best. And in the south, buffalo and camels will be interesting too. This is another kind of food for fish. Is plankton. In this case, what has plankton ever done for us is Razor Science Show that you can see in the internet. It shows that in salt water, I think in sweet water you can have them too, it's a difference. But in seawater, we have a lots of things that can give food for fish. And if you are in a desert, if you make a pool in the desert, you can have all these things and fish. And of course, algae too. You can have production for algae and fish. It's just a picture from buffaloes that they are more prepared to eat things with the quantity of water than cows. Is why it's important buffaloes is the buffaloes and camels are more strong for eating food. How they eat food. Is from sheep. It's not so big, at least in these pictures. I don't know, maybe it's not the best. How they make the digestion of the food. This is the mangrove crab. when I begin to do how I to do milk, it was with the things with grain, with a high protein that the pictures before the greens, and in that case that could be 1 kilometer or half a kilometer each side. To have big productions in lands that we don't use, and that when we have water. And these things, it was for salt water. Okay, if you can have them near the sea, you could have them in places that you have very salty places, with the mangrove too. It was nice. It was the beginning of the work. I don't think now is not important for this situation. Maybe where we have a lot of salt water in the field, maybe is one situation to study for that. But it was how I begin all the job and going to improve the things with the different things that I've been looking for. It's the same situation. I have a few how to show, how to prepare bamboo, when we work bamboo for another things what we have. Camels. We have different kinds of camels, and there is a picture that just shows how camels are used to everything. They can spend time without eating, without drinking. How adjustable they are to the environment and food. This is a different one in the desert. Where they can survive is all animals that are prepared really for a desert. And give food, meat, milk, everything that we need. For example, eating palm trees, they can eat too. And preparing palm trees with spirulina for drinking, we have a full meal for them. It's a picture quite funny because it's to show pets food. That is something that is happening, is that we have many pets. I find funny because yesterday I just listened, now people prefer have a dog than a child. In many countries like Japan, with the decrease of population, people begin to have pets but not children. And we need food for them. And they are not vegetarians, but they can eat vegetarian things. It's like the dog. People normally don't give cats eat fish in cans prepared for them. But you don't have fish for dogs, but both of them eat fish. It's the same situation. It's just a question of traditions. It's why grass carp is very important, but gives food for people and for pets. Another situation for the pork, that is one more that can with bamboo, spirulina, and having a full protein to grow. This one is, I don't know from which one. This one is for a panda. Yeah, it shows the intestines parts are really not for a vegetarian animal, is a carnivore animal. It just shows how bamboo are rich in protein. This is a pig, with a kind of pig that we have in Portugal. And it's the pigs that I remember in my village people have before having the modern pigs, that they grow fast. And it's fun, I remember, because in my uncle's house they have them and they give them vegetables before getting the time for them to get fat to be killed after for food. They eat a lot of vegetables. My mom never did that, but I find fun, and I didn't forget, because I noticed that they didn't give the same food that my mom was giving to the pork that she had at home. And my uncles give them vegetables for eating, not minding much with get a special food, because like people or animals, they grow up fast when they are young. and just using rich food. Sometimes it's not the solution because they grow. Of course, they need food, good food, but they grow if it's not the best of the foods for animals. They still grow fast. This is Iberic pork that is good for the ham, what we call presunto, and it's a different kind. They are with a very different. We have this style in white too. Is now the production for meat for everyone, but these ones are specialists to be in the fields. A rabbit, how you see, bamboo again, or another. They have intestines full of intestines that they can transform the food vegetables easily. Cows milking. The beginning of these shows have milk for cows, from cows, because it normally is the easy way to make milk, adding quantities with cows. And is a picture how we have nowadays and we treat cows. Pet food, how you see, is one more thing how we we do, or the producers want to show how the good food animals, pets can eat, cats and dogs mainly. And how we see they can eat better than many people in the world. We have many millions, if not more than 1 billion people without this kind of food that we are doing or showing that is for pets. This is a cow from my region too. They are working cows, and their food it was the plant of corn, dry, and some grass. And I never had seen a cow without be good looking in my place, and they just eat the milk, the corn plant. This is a picture that I took. Is to show a cow. I used to travel in one of these things when I was small with my neighbors. My neighbor, one of them, goes to the fields, and sometimes I went with them in this beautiful car. It's the same style that we have in Portugal. Just this thing here is not the same style. Our was a little different, but it was the only different is this wheel. Another thing from this wheel is like tires. In this case, it was timber inside and iron on the top. Now we make tires with iron on inside and timber on outside. Is how we make our tires. Because they go after, they say that they are better, and no one can say nothing. It's just the way of we have the tires that we make all pollution with tires. Because everything that appears in one tire are going to for people to breathe to. Because tires, the rubber disappears, but it needs to go somewhere, and some goes to our lungs. It's why you need to pay attention, because tires are 100 years enveloped, and they need to change. This is a picture with the palm oil tree. I find all the system could be bamboo, everything, corn, plant, everything could be bad because we could get bad flu in the animals. And this one with porks show another thing, because like the birds, the swine illness can be done by these animals. They just pass through the fields that, for example, soya fields that are near to get from the fields, and the pest swine goes with the beans, because when they separate the beans from the rest of the body, everything is mixed. Is why the virus from them must pass to our animals that are in close parts by food. Is the situation that I got is the impregnation of the swine illness from porks and birds are coming from pigs and from the birds. And they pass where this food is contaminated are going to contaminate the one region that have the same place, that they got the food from the same place. Is why we have this illness in our animals, is what I think it's happening, not moving the illness from one place to another, but why they are made by the food. It's why maybe you need to have lights to kill microbes in the food, processed food, before giving to the animals. This is one of planting things, just an idea. Another one, how you can use land or water to produce vegetables in regions that we don't have much water, or like in the desert or countries without much land. For crops is a way to produce crops in a modern way. This is a telephone. I have, from many years ago, every time I make a contract with the telephone, I've been decreasing prices. And what I have now is from beginning of this year. And 2 years ago, I knew that we could get a card with full internet to have at home. What is what I'm using? I'm using internet from my phone in my laptop. And is the cheapest way to have internet at home. I'm living in UK, and I bought it in Tesco, that had my last contract in that. And it's much cheaper than a contract from a telephone internet that was not working at all in my house. I was paying £32 plus £7.50 for my telephone, internet, and phone contract. Now I pay 20 for everything. And I'm full internet with a very good quality. And I'm doing this because in many places, in many countries, Africa, South America, Asia, people can have internet by these cards, full cards that they can use in computers, because it's an easy way for having internet in some regions, not by cable, but by aerial or satellites. And it works perfect. It's a solution for places where we don't have cables, but you can have internet by air. It's something very important. This is in the beginning of this job, I separate fish, because we can have fish for people to eat. Because we have, in the Western countries, we eat a lot of chicken and eggs, the poor people, or the 90% of the population, 95% is the majority of the things they eat is chicken and eggs. And another things, but is majority. In Asia is tofu. In Africa, still going on with more animals from the forest. That is something that must be changed, like burning firewood and animals from the forest. That's why I find fish would be the third part of food for people eating, like the grass carp that is easy to produce with a very low price, and to show bread, because we can do bread more than using wheat, this white one. You can use duckweed here, for example. You can use corn. I'm from a region from corn. It was what I used to eat when I was young. Sorry. For example, can be cassava, can be potato. I find that potato have a lot of protein, more than wheat. That is, it was a very surprise for me. Just to say, in countries where we have a grow-up population with a poor economic situation, we have more things to make bread. And you can have bread half a price, because I showed price for wheat that are going to appear soon, is too expensive. You can give another opportunity for people to buy different kind of bread without to be half of the price or less. And with full protein or with low protein, like wheat don't have so much protein, but you can get bread in a situation with a full protein. Different kinds of doing bread with different vegetables, how you see here. The color you can use many things on the bread. One of the things you can use too is, they are going to appear after, I don't remember the name, things to give flavor. The first time I took this picture is just to say that you can do potatoes to bread from potatoes. And I find very interesting because I think it's one of the situations to do a lot of bread with potatoes because it's very healthy and with full of protein. That another thing don't have. Potato is one of the best. Another thing I took just to give an idea what we can do with, we don't need only wheat to do this or spaghetti. You can use different materials like cassava, like potato, like rice. You can do, I don't know if corn is possible too, but you can do different materials that in some countries they can have a very low price for people to buy, not only using wheat for this. Is a way of speaks about the gluten. Human with a protein content of about 13%. You see, wheat is not many, don't have many protein. Potatoes have much more than wheat. Is why changing between or a mix between wheat and potatoes or another thing is very corn, potatoes are very important ways to make bread with good quality. Duckweed. There are different names for duckweed, or say there are different qualities of duckweed with different names. They are from the same family. It's something that you can check in the internet. This one looks very clean, obviously, because it's one of the situations you can have them to make bread. Producing them, dry them, make flour, and do bread. This is spinach bread. Is one more bread that is that possible to do, or say, is not only with bread. Different kinds of breads, pan clean. You can do different pastas, just to say, wheat is not the only solution, and you can have different tastes and doing it in a different way. Banana, I took this one because I find fun, because in many places that we have bananas, you can use bananas to make bread too. And sometimes, say, you can use a lot of bananas. Another thing like parsley, all part of the banana can be eaten with the same, the outside is the same than inside. It have a different structure, but is good for eating in the same way than the inside. This is the flavor of the duckweed. What takes better? This one don't show from. You have here is from Shanxi. You can have a look to know always the flavors of these things. This is the bread that I used to eat when I was young in Portugal, and when we have the use to eat potatoes and corn bread. This is only corn. Now that you cannot find it in Portugal, just corn with the wheat mix that have a very different taste. We did this in a way that you could use this bread for 1 week. We make normally once once a week for a whole week. After we did more, and it's very nice and very good. That is another way to make bread. Some countries like I remember every time in Egypt because it's a population is growing in very high quantities, growing of the population, and is one situation that people can have a different chance. Say if they can pay one third of the price of wheat, are certain that they will buy it. This is a spirulina versus chlorella. Chlorella is not a liquid; it's is another